Hi everyone, I'm Jeanette, founder of eTail Maven eCommerce Consulting, and today I want to talk to you about QA. Okay, this is for everyone, because whether you're new to online selling and don't even know what QA is, or you're a pro but you hate QAing, everyone could benefit from a few minutes about QA. For those who are unfamiliar, QA stands for quality assurance, and it's just about everyone's least favorite topic, yet it's extremely important. Without it, you could be losing sales for no good reason. Imagine losing sales for something you could have easily prevented. Once those sales are gone, they're likely gone for good. You don't get a do-over. Customers don't come back to the site the next day to see if you fixed your bug. They generally move on and make their purchase elsewhere. Wouldn't that be a shame? Now, imagine if this bug was happening for a year. So day after day, for a year, something fixable was costing you sales. Insane. I once had a client who was in this sad scenario. When a customer added to their bag, if they didn't immediately go to checkout, then there was no way to get them there because the cart link was only visible if they happened to roll over the completely blank space it was located in. The cart link was invisible. This was going on for a year before I came in and did a UX review of their website and found it. They made the change, and their shopping cart abandonment rate went from 75% to 66% the very next month, and their conversion went from 1% to 1.42%. For those that are not familiar with these metrics, I will do another video very soon that goes into detail, but for now, what this means is, let's say they had 1,000 visitors to the site, and 1% converted at an AOV of $100. Then they would have $1,000 in revenue. With that bug fix in place, it would have been $1,420 in revenue. Now multiply that by 365 days, that would be an incremental $153,000 in revenue, or an increase of 42%, just for some dumb bug. Insane. Okay, so now that you know how critical it is, let's get into it. QA means testing your website by looking at and clicking on everything as if you were a customer who was completely unfamiliar with your site. This needs to be done when you launch the site for the first time, or you migrate to a new platform, or you roll out a new feature or functionality. It also doesn't hurt to take a quick look at the site when you update content, creative, copy, or products either, but let's just stick with the coding changes for now. Your website is based on a bunch of code written by a developer and/or platform or plugin provider's team of developers. When you add a new feature, like reviews or a compare tool, for instance, the code is getting changed to some extent. When you add functionality like sorting by price, the code is also getting changed. Changing one thing can unfortunately break another. Some developers have better logging and tracking methods for their code than others. Some make spaghetti code. So you want to comb through the site to test the changes and anything else that may be associated with those changes. And as good measure, you always want to test checkout, no matter if you only change something on the product detail page. Always make it a habit to test checkout. As for who should do QA, this is an all-hands-on-deck project. No one person should be completely responsible for QA all on their lonesome, even if it's the developer, unless you want things slipping through the cracks. You know the saying, 2 pairs of eyes are better than 1. The external resources involved in making the change to the internal resources who have requested the change should all play a part in the QA. If a third-party resource has been tasked with adding a feature or functionality to your website, or even with migrating your site to a new platform, and they are not signing up for a thorough QA, this is a big red flag. It will surely result in a bunch of bugs being dumped in your lap, leaving you at the mercy of the resource to charge you even more to fix them. Don't put yourself in this situation. Always get a QA commitment up front, or find a different resource. As for some of the best practices with how to go about doing QA, a checklist of everything that needs to be reviewed is helpful to share with everyone so you can be sure it's thoroughly tested. A scenario list is also helpful. This is where you spell out the actions or path you want tested because of the various ways the customer will interact with the new functionality. Again, this is so that you can be sure the testing is thorough. If you are super lucky and the stars align, all will look and function as intended and your QA will end here. If not, and there are bugs found, you'll need a consolidated way to track them. You'll want to create a master list that explains what page the tester was on, what they clicked on, in what order they clicked on it, a description of the bug with a screenshot, and you want to know which browser they were testing on. This master list should have a number assigned to each bug for easy reference when fixing and retesting. Google Docs is a good tool for a shared spreadsheet that all testers can access and update. Once you have identified all the bugs, then and only then should you hand over the master list for the developer to tackle. This way you know you have thoroughly tested everything and no changes are being made while you're trying to test. It just gets messy and confusing if that happens. Once the developer has made the fixes, all the testers would then go back through the entire process again to be sure what was to be fixed is truly fixed and that nothing new has broken. Remember, sometimes fixing something breaks something else. This is why you go back through the whole checklist and scenarios again. If all is good, congratulations, you're almost done. If you have a website with both a development environment where you test and a production environment, the live site the customer sees, then at this point, the changes would be pushed to production and you would quickly test everything one more time, this time on the live site. If you only have a production environment and all your changes were being made on the live site, then you have no additional QA to do. However, it's not ideal to make changes on a live site, so as your business grows, you want to invest in a platform that allows for a test environment. Whether you have a test environment or not today, there are some key rules of thumb to follow. You never want to make site changes on a Friday, certainly not right before quitting time. If you do, you take the risk of having to live with any problems till Monday. You never want to make big coding changes during your high traffic hours so that you can minimize the audience if there are any issues. It's better to do these changes very early in the morning and have the rest of the morning to address them. Depending on the seasonality of your business, you may want to hold off on making site changes during your busy time of year. Many large online businesses adhere to a code freeze from October through December, so as not to interfere with their holiday business. I hope that this will help you avoid all the bugs you can to capture all the business you're due. Follow this page for more e-commerce words of wisdom in my quarantine series. And if you have an e-commerce topic you wish I would cover, please add it to the comments below for me to consider. Stay healthy, folks.